Black Panther 3 is officially happening, as we got an official confirmation from the director Ryan Coogler, who is just coming off of Sinners, a big, massive success really for him and everybody involved. And before we kind of got a confirmation about Black Panther 3 from Denzel Washington, however, reports went on to say that it wasn't exactly locked in yet and not confirmed. However, Ryan Coogler himself, who is going to be directing Black Panther 3 just like he directed 1 and 2, has confirmed it is happening, and he talks about Denzel Washington as well and what Denzel said back when he kind of confirmed Black Panther 3 was happening. We've also been hearing a lot about the new Black Panther. A lot is happening with Avengers Doomsday and the multiverse, and right now Bob Iger is kind of pressuring Marvel to get out another movie in 2026. We've heard recent reports that he's kind of upset that Marvel has only one movie they're coming out with in 2026 that they fully own all of the money for. They do have Spider-Man Brand New Day coming out, but of course Spider-Man is owned by Sony. So they don't get nearly as much money as they would for a project that they completely own all of the rights to, all of the characters for. And Disney recently had to lay off a lot of people in the film, TV, and finance department. So Bob Iger is feeling that pressure and wants more movies out, which will directly affect when we get Black Panther 3 and will affect our new Black Panther, which might not actually go hand in hand with Black Panther 3. And this might be Ryan Coogler's last time directing a Black Panther film, which means a pretty big goodbye could be set up in Black Panther 3. Now, several months ago, we started to hear reports from reliable insiders that Marvel Studios was actually going to go ahead and recast T'Challa in the MCU, something that they previously stated they weren't going to do. When Chadwick Boseman died, they said they weren't going to cast a T'Challa, aka the Black Panther, in the MCU. However, in Black Panther Wakanda Forever, they did show us that T'Challa had a son, and they named him T'Challa. So this was kind of their way around that. However, recently we have heard that Marvel Studios has decided to change their stance on this and that they are going to recast T'Challa. Now, at this point in time, we're unsure if this is going to be T'Challa's son and they'll simply make him the new Black Panther, but due to the story that is currently happening in the MCU with the multiverse saga, and based on what some insiders have been stating, it doesn't seem like they're going to go with the son of T'Challa becoming the new Black Panther. That would also be pretty hard because he was very young in Black Panther Wakanda Forever when we saw him. There would have to be a massive time jump for him to become an adult and become the new Black Panther, and doing that time jump would throw off the entirety of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And perhaps that is why Marvel Studios has decided to go with simply recasting a T'Challa. But the big question is, how exactly do we get a new one when they did in fact kill Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa in Wakanda Forever? And will this Black Panther that they're bringing in, this new one, be in Black Panther 3? This is where it gets exciting. One, it's exciting just because Denzel Washington is making his way to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And no, we're not talking about those Magneto rumors that we've heard before. In fact, Denzel Washington himself has pretty much confirmed that he's not going to play Magneto. In his original interview with Australia's Today program, he claimed that he's going to do 5 movies. One of them, he said, Ryan Coogler is writing a part for me in the next Black Panther. After that, after all of these movies, I'm going to retire. He would then go on to clarify by stating, I didn't say I was going to go into retirement. I said that it has to be a level of interest for me. I'm more interested in getting behind the camera. So that's about 5 years out. So basically he said he's going to do a handful of movies and then he wants to go behind the camera. That most likely means he's not going to accept a role such as Magneto that would require a lot of time and a big commitment from him. But after this interview of him admitting he's going to be in Black Panther 3, we got some reports that stated even though he said this, it still hasn't been confirmed that Black Panther 3 is going to happen. But now it definitely is, as Ryan Coogler, the director, has confirmed this himself on Carmelo Anthony's 7 p.m. in Brooklyn podcast while playing the game F With It or F Out of Here. When he was asked about Denzel Washington appearing in Black Panther 3 and Black Panther 3 actually happening, he said, that's a big F with it. He confirmed there's no fiction out there about that, meaning everything we've heard is true. And he confirms that he is writing a very specific role for Denzel Washington. E! News says, and he can't wait to hear Washington chant Wakanda Forever with the cast, who will likely include returning stars Letitia Wright, Denai Guerrera, Lupita Nyong'o, and Winston Duke, and they specifically say T'Challa has not been recast since Chadwick Boseman's death in 2020. But it's very interesting to hear that Ryan Coogler can't wait to hear Washington chant Wakanda Forever. This could imply that he might not actually be the villain of the movie as was reported before. If he's going to say Wakanda Forever, that is implying that he's going to be good. But of course there are still ways that he could be a bad guy and shout that. If he's a bad guy and he takes over Wakanda, he could say that as he takes over the throne. But again, the big question is, will there be a new Black Panther and will he be in Black Panther 3? Well, luckily for us, and unfortunately for them, an official Marvel artist's artwork got leaked online. From what we know, they posted it to their public website by mistake. And once you post something and people see it, it's out there forever. So we have it all. And in these leaks is concept art for a new Black Panther. But here's the kicker. This concept art was for the Fantastic Four First Steps, Avengers Doomsday, and Avengers Secret Wars. Based on what we know, none of this was really for Black Panther 3, which implies that either in Avengers Doomsday or in Avengers Secret Wars, we are going to get a variant of T'Challa / the Black Panther. And this is most likely the new Black Panther that we've been hearing all of these reports about. But with this, we arrive at kind of a crossroad. Based on everything we've heard, Marvel Studios is planning a soft reboot of the Marvel Cinematic Universe after Avengers Secret Wars, which does make sense because we're assuming that in Avengers Secret Wars, much like what happens in the comics, the entire multiverse gets destroyed. That's what Marvel has set up in the MCU so far. We've learned a lot about incursions and we're hearing our Earth is headed for an incursion as well. So the multiverse will seemingly be destroyed, but ultimately Marvel Studios is going to revive it, most likely using Franklin Richards, the son of Reed Richards and Sue Storm, who will be born in the Fantastic Four First Steps. We've already seen footage of him in the most recent trailer. His power is the power to literally create universes. So that's most likely how Marvel will restore their multiverse. But that means when we get our brand new universe, there are going to be new characters like the X-Men, and then we're going to have the Fantastic Four. But this also opens up the door for old characters to be played by new actors. We could get a new Iron Man, we could get a new Captain America, Black Widow, and we could get a new Black Panther. This could kind of be Marvel's solution to their recast T'Challa problem. When they decided to not recast him, a lot of people actually were pretty upset about that because Black Panther, specifically T'Challa's Black Panther, meant a lot to them and they want to see him continue on screen. And it has nothing to do with disrespect towards Chadwick Boseman. I don't think really anybody disrespects him. He was very loved. It was all about the respect of T'Challa as a character. Well, they could introduce this new Black Panther in Avengers Doomsday or Secret Wars, and this specific T'Challa could survive the soft reboot and end up in this new universe and become the main Black Panther from there on out. And what we've seen in the comics and events like Crisis on Infinite Earths, once this new universe is established, the vast majority of the people, with the exception of maybe just a handful of people, they don't remember what their life was like before the new universe was formed. To them, once they're inside the new universe, that's where they have always lived. So this is a way for the new Black Panther to appear in Black Panther 3 if Black Panther 3 comes out after Avengers Secret Wars. But this is the crossroad that I mentioned. We could go one way with Black Panther happening after Avengers Secret Wars, but the other way is Black Panther 3 comes out before Avengers Secret Wars. If it comes out before Secret Wars, then that most likely means that we're not going to get a new T'Challa in Black Panther 3. We'll have another story. It will most likely have to do with the multiverse, in which they could bring in variants of T'Challa, but I don't think Ryan Coogler would focus on that, especially because Chadwick Boseman said that there would be no Black Panther without Denzel Washington, and we're coming full circle here with Denzel being in Black Panther 3. It really is an awesome moment, and due to that and the story that they would be kind of forced to tell if Black Panther 3 came out between Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, they'd have to tell a multiverse story, so those two things combined would probably make it to where they would wait on giving us a new official main Black Panther. But if it comes out after Secret Wars, it is much easier to do so. But either way, it does sound like we are indeed getting a new Black Panther, and we do have that concept art for it as well, which means Marvel Studios has already been talking about this and even creating concept art for it, which means they'll most likely have him in Avengers Doomsday and or Secret Wars. And we are officially getting a Black Panther 3, and Denzel Washington is officially going to be in that movie. Ryan Coogler is writing a specific part for him. So the future of Black Panther and the Black Panther franchise seems like it's on a very great path. But go ahead and let me know your thoughts about this in the comments down below. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you can stay up to date on all things Marvel. And you can also find us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Snapchat. As always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.